Welcome to a new broadcast of the Renaissance Show. Hello, Dimitrios. How are you doing?
Hi, with Demetrios. How are you doing, Sia?
I'm fine. Today we
Was
are going to
wondering
speak
about.
about the US.
Yes.
There's a lot going on in the US. Uh,
Okay, and about what you want to speak about the US?
yeah, let's begin
Name the
about
problem.
let's talk about the dissolution of the southern border. I mean, if you look
Oh, that's an
uh,
interesting one.
if you look at the southern border, what happens in Texas? I
Hmm.
mean, the United States is being changed demographically on purpose
Hmm. Hmm.
and by some higher powers. And yeah, it's amazing what happens there. It's amazing in a negative sense, not in a positive
I'm
sense.
wondering. Yeah, I understand. I'm wondering why in Texas this border is like cheesecake with
Yeah,
holes in it. Why in
yes,
Texas? Why is it such a problem in Texas and less a problem on other borders?
yes. Well, obviously, to me, Governor Abbott, the Republican governor of Texas, is a bribe. He's corrupt. If he would
Hmm.
truly if he would truly be an authentic MAGA Republican, he would have put more effort on protecting the border. I mean, I saw 2 weeks ago how the journalist
Mm-hmm.
Owen Schroyer of Infowars went to the border, and I could see with my own eyes as an how is it said? I could see through the during his program how the police officers led through some
They were
refugees.
harassing him. Okay, but were they also harassing him about reporting what's happening in Texas at the border?
Raising, I don't understand you.
Was the police harassing also?
Yes, yes, they were harassing him. He wasn't allowed to film from not from a short distance the refugees. You could see how dozens of buses were standing there. There is this plan to transport refugees in the during the midnights, during the nights, through buses.
When people don't see that, yeah, when people
Uh,
don't notice, they do their work on this type of illegal immigration. The American public doesn't have to know what's happening in Texas. And when somebody starts reporting it, then he has to be arrested by the police, by the authorities.
yes.
And regarding the wall that Trump promised to build,
I
what's
mean,
wrong with it? Why is it still a problem? That
you
is
know,
something that I can't understand yet.
the problem is, according to my opinion, I believe there is this opinion worldwide that we can podcast our way out this suppression, but I encourage the increasement of podcasts, the decentralization of media, but not only through podcasting we will not defeat the new world order. I would say
No, no, because yeah, okay, it's a medium to let people know that what's happening there, and also in regard what one can agree yes or not. But at the end, only podcasting will not help the problem. The problem is fundamental with the politicians themselves,
yes,
the authorities, and what they decide at the end.
yes.
To me, it's also clear that if you look at demographics in the southern states of United States, it's changing drastically. if you compare it with 10 years, 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
And yeah, what seems to me incredible that Texas is one of the most traditional states, also very Republican state, a state that defines also the American culture, but is also the state with the biggest holes in its boundaries with Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
the
there is
problem.
really there a struggle of interests.
Yeah, Arizona and California and Texas, maybe more states, but those states share a large border with Mexico. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I think Texas is the hub of illegal immigration.
yeah,
So I don't know what the deal is with the deeper state of affairs in the United States, but I think they want to replace a part of the population with immigration because the original population doesn't want to make more kids to maintain a certain population yeah growth, because as we know economy can only function well if it's continually growing. So you need
yeah.
a population that grows or it remains stable. There's some stabilization, but
About the economy,
yeah, if
speaking about the economy, uh, I was listening to the Ron Paul, to the Liberty Report. You know, Ron Paul
oh
was
yeah.
an politician. His son is now the governor of Kentucky.
Mm,
I was learned at school that an inflation of 2% is a good thing to aspire for. Whereas,
yes, that is also a reason why they take 2%. Less is a problem, more begins also to have problems.
why is less a problem? I mean, if you have less than 2% inflation, it means for me that the average citizen keeps his purchase power.
Yes, that's what I also thought. For us citizens, how less inflation or negative inflation is for us positive because it means that we can buy our stuff cheaper. But the central banks, to maintain their system and their macroeconomy, they need a 2% inflation because 2% is what they earn about creating the money.
Could you say
So they create money from nothing, and then the money has to be worked, and that's the 2% earnings what they have.
so I'm getting a
Really very
message.
simple said. That's the main explanation. Very simple said. It's more complicated than that, but if they
Uh,
didn't had inflation, then the central bank would earn nothing. If they had a 2% negative inflation, the banks would earn nothing.
is it
That's a problem
possible?
for them.
Maybe, uh, yeah, maybe this question might be stupid to you, but is it possible to create inflation without printing money out of thin air? Thin air? Is that possible?
Okay, I think thought something went wrong, but we are all still online.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the question?
Could there be inflation without a central bank who prints money out of thin air? I mean, if a central bank doesn't print money out of thin air, will there
Mm,
be inflation at the end of the fiscal year?
yes, also because you have different types of inflation. Example, if there would be no central bank that prints its money and it's based only on silver and gold that somebody gets from the ground, but you still can have inflation of products if the energy to produce those products is going higher or lower. So a simple example, if you want to produce a car, but the metal to extract metal becomes more expensive because the laborers ask more money to work on that extraction of metal, then also to produce a car becomes more expensive. Then
Okay.
you have also taken account that if there are less products to be made and more people want those products, and they have also the money to buy up those products. So if there are lesser products, but your neighbor said instead of $10, I will pay $20 because I want it, and then you think, oh my God, before he pays $20, I want to pay $30 for it. That's also a kind of inflation.
Yes, I understand. We have to end this video within 2 minutes. I was getting the message from my software that it will be ended automatically. Um,
Ah, that's
so
nice to hear.
we will talk in another video. We will speak about the coming elections in the US. We have elections. Um,
Election, exactly.
uh, what do you think about what do you think about the elections? What will happen?
Oh, that's a very good question. I'm scared that Biden will win again.
Okay,
To me, it seems impossible that this demented personality will win again. But I think the stakes are so high in the United States of America that he has to win regarding whatever.
regardless,
Because what other
regardless.
candidate is there that has the old connections with the deeper things of affairs in the United States?
So you are saying implicitly that RFK doesn't have a chance to
I think
defeat
he can
Biden.
have a chance, but at the end of the trip, it's very possible that something comes in between and it will be again Biden that stands there as its president. Because let's take an account, we have the war in the Ukraine, and Biden is so for this war. And I don't know what the standpoint is from this JFK guy, with all respects of his family and what
Oh, I
happened
like
to
him
his
very much.
family members.
I like him very much because of his standpoints about manufacturing in the US and having a middle class.
That's a very good standpoint. That I
Yeah,
agree on that.
but we have to end this video, unfortunately.
Hmm.
We will follow up on this video. We will continue within a few weeks.
Yes,
I
it's a too
wish you a nice
interesting
evening,
subject to not
Dimitrios.
talk about. What